Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. And welcome, everyone. I am Loren Gailey, and I am so pleased to welcome you here to season 23 of Quantum Conversations. This is Quantum Conversations TV, QCTV. It is the video version of our show, and we invite you to subscribe to this channel and also go to acoustichealth.com and subscribe to our newsletter so you can get our podcasts and information on all of the mind-expanding, heart-opening, transformational programs and courses that we have to offer the world. We dedicate this program to you and all of the awakening hearts. And so today it is my pleasure to bring you one of the leaders in consciousness, simply because she lives it and she reports on it on a daily basis. And it's her experience that is helpful to all of us as we remember the universe is inside of us, and this is a vibrational existence. These times of transformation are upon us, and I'm so pleased to bring Lisa Transcendence Brown to this QCTV episode. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, sweet Loren. Hey, everybody. We're back. We're going to do this again today. I'm excited. This is awesome.
Hey.
Yay.
Okay, you said that we were just hit by some pretty powerful energy. So let's start there with this energy update, because things have shifted.
Everything's constantly shifting. We didn't just get hit. We got hit again. It's like an everyday thing.
Yes.
It's just like, it's going to continue. Everything, the cosmic frequencies that are occurring, they're occurring inside each person's body. But until there's the awareness of the what, the how, and all this kind of stuff, which is all vibrational, energetic, then the perception is very different. Part of a lot of us, why we do what we do, is to bring that awareness of what's really going on one level. And then, you know, when you get into multidimensionality, it's so many things. It's all the pieces and parts of a much bigger picture. And so when we get into cosmic frequencies, they are accelerating and increasing in power and strength. And I wrote a piece yesterday about photonic light and what it does. Photonic light being many things. But before any of us did this, we didn't understand. We had to actually do it before we gain the knowledge. And then we bring, when you're an embodier, if you will, I'm going to use that word, you bring the information from within you. It's your access that you have gained through your own experiences and returning to whatever, I'm going to use the word level, but then the ego gets involved in that part and plays games too. I don't play in the ego stuff. I don't play in any of that. That's not what any of this is about. This is about each one of us returning to pure source consciousness within ourselves, that we are pure source consciousness. And it's beautiful because the thing we're doing today that we're going to talk about is about creator consciousness, which comes into play when it comes into, especially when it comes to New Earth. But before we can actually open up portals inside, open up where all of the vibrational frequencies and the energy and those aspects of ourselves are, there's a lot of things that have to occur. That's a part of the waking up process, and which is just a part of the process. And then the ascension process is another part of the process. And then you actually move through ascension into transcending the whole ascension thing, into full-blown multidimensionality where you embody all of these. It's oversoul consciousness. So pure source consciousness is the entire monad. Oversoul is all of it returned. And so we're all returning to what we forgot. We're all returning to a very pure existence that's based on a new foundation, which is love. It's unity consciousness, it's purity consciousness, it's truly really caring about each other. It's showing up, and it's basically throwing all the old ways out the window, all of them. And so I know I go around the world, you know me, Loren. Now we're back. But you know, this is not a linear anything. None of this. It's a full-blown quantum everything. And so in order to explain, we have to bebop all over the place, because you're hitting all of the geometric points. You're hitting all of the information, and then you bring it back. You bring all those pieces and parts into a picture. And look at what we're doing. We're creating a picture. We're creating a visual. We're creating a new understanding. And that's a part of of source consciousness, creator consciousness. It is, we basically, you and I were talking, we deconstruct the old realities. We deprogram. We dismantle them. We basically destroy them. We obliterate them. And you basically dissect them, break it all down. And then what you do is you take core value system of universal unity consciousness, and you take a core value system of purity and love consciousness, and you reconstruct an entire new reality based upon a new foundation. And so, you know, today, well, I know I'm coming back, but I wanted all. I can tell when I do this, I do it on purpose. But we're talking about consciously creating magical realities. Well, what we don't understand at the time is that at first we are recreating ourselves. We're rebirthing ourselves literally with our body. Belly blows up, photonic light. Photonic light is the light of our soul. Photonic light is our galactic aspects. Photonic light is every one of our higher dimensional aspects. I'm going to use higher and lower only for the sake of having a polarity to use so I can explain. Beyond that, there is no higher or lower. We're all returning to an original state of consciousness where everything is in balance, where everything is a part, everything is playing out a role, everything serves a really important purpose. It's more about understanding the purpose that everything serves. And more than just one purpose, a bazillion of them. And all of this is about vibration and energy. And so we get into frequency bandwidths and dimensions. And, you know, we have to have a way to break it down so we can explain. It's not a breaking it down like the ego plays in with a comparison or better or worse. You know, we have to constantly say this, because every time we try to explain, it gets attacked by whatever. And so, you know, we all move beyond that. When you move beyond the ego aspect, there's none of that stuff going on. It's bringing all of this into unity. It's information. Mm-hmm. Photonic light delivers a ridiculous amount of information. It's all higher consciousness knowledge when we're playing from a lower consciousness game. But that knowledge, each one of us agreed to bring that information through us and to share it, to support and assist humanity with making this massive transition back into a much higher state of consciousness than any of us functioned from before. Every one of us were unconscious. Every one of us were deeply asleep. Every one of us have to go through everything everybody is going through right now, just in our own way. That's our personal experience. Every one of us go through realities collapsing. Every one of us go through heavy duty stuff. Every one of us, and the story doesn't matter. That's the point. The story is how we explain. The story, when you're explaining things from a much higher dimensional, higher level of consciousness, doesn't matter what words we use. When we're explaining it from a much more expanded view, through our heart consciousness of how things work, then I forgot what I was saying. What was I just talking about? It just went boom, gone. Right?
Yeah. Well, you know, we're making this transition back into these higher states of consciousness. We're remembering it. And it's the heart consciousness. I love it because, you know, that does change the rules of everything. And so, you know, when things come up, when things present, that in the moment is where we decide it's an opportunity. And so, you know, we're all human still. Maybe
We're all
you
in a
work
human
through it
body, but
in human
I call
bodies.
it something different than everybody else does. Once you expand into other galaxies, literally your consciousness will expand into what is perceived as other galaxies, but it's all inside of your body, so you're doing it from all inside. Once you expand into heaven, when we're going through the ascension process, we're actually living from heaven as a Christed being, and we're watching. When you expand into the fifth dimension within yourself, then you see the third, the fourth, and the fifth dimension, and then you have a comparison, and that's why a lot of people will come into the fifth dimension, start explaining things. Well, the third and the fifth are polar opposites. There's your polarity. It's just what photonic light does, is it gives us all the ability to see. It gives us the ability to see the illusions and then to choose a different. And that's the thing about it, is if we're not choosing, then we're maintaining that victim mentality of I don't have a choice. And then it gets into this whole other game that everybody plays. But the purpose of this is to understand everything is an opportunity and a gift if we are ready to see it that way. And if we're not, then it's going to be everything else. We all have the capability, if our hearts are open, to shift anything out of our own ego's perception, which is the 3D level of consciousness, which is how 3D came to be. We all functioned completely unconscious. And so we break it down to describe a process so that we can all understand, so that everybody then has a conscious choice. You take that knowledge, you take that information, and you apply it to your own life. You open your heart completely, and you get completely out of your head about the whole thing. If you're in your head, it's an ego game. It's a battle. It's a fight. It's a challenge. It's a they're wrong and I'm right. It's the they're the ones. You've got the they game going on. You've got the going on. You've got the victim mentality. You've got the I was wrong. You've got all this duality stuff going on. Whereas when enough of our light has activated inside for us to remember what it's like to be a soul, to actually, photonic light interconnects us all as love. To remember what it's like to be a soul and to live as your soul. That's what a lot of people, you know, somebody said yesterday when I posted, people are having a hard time with this. Well, their ego's having a hard time. This is the light of our soul returning. This is what everybody wants. We want to see souls, you know, and so, but the moment it pops up inside of themselves, the judgment games and the blame game and the victim game starts going. This is where each one of us are literally embodying our soul, but then we go so far beyond that. But this is to come from the depth of the core of your being, a very pure place. Your soul is pure. It doesn't hold any of that stuff. It's the aspect of you that truly, really cares about everyone and everything and moves beyond your little ego aspect. Gets over yourself. Get over yourself. It's not about you anymore. A lot of people are like, well, I don't understand why this is happening. It's going to be a bazillion reasons. It's not going to be one. You got to see them all. It's to bring our compassion and our humanity through. We lost when we all dropped into, fell into, kerplunked into, doesn't matter what word we use, 3D, we all lost our humanity. We all put walls of protection up. We all entered into an illusion that is very physically real, but we don't understand how everything came to be. And so the beauty of what we're going to talk about today is this change in illusions. You get to pick a different illusion. I mean, when you actually start living in a holographic reality, and we do live in a holographic reality where everything is visible because it's all vibrational, you're actually reconstructing your entire reality through purity and love. And you're building a whole new reality that is aligned on a soul level so that you too can live literally in heaven on earth. But heaven is inside. And we have to find heaven inside, and we have to find our soul for that, because your soul lives in heaven. I'm breaking this down in linear ways right now. I'm throwing it all in the pot. As each one of us allow our soul to come through and stop closing our heart, we get to live the most amazing realities because we actually care. And we stop living from our heads, giving our power away, pointing the finger at everybody else. We step into self accountability, and this has been a big one. And so now we're back at where you asked the question. You notice how it takes me forever to get back around. We've shifted energies, but we have so many different frequency bandwidths running. We have so many dimensions at play. We have so many things possible and available. There isn't one truth. They're all perceptions. They're all the energy we hold. They're all our mirror. They're our reflection back. Everything's to show us what we hold inside. Everything is for all these things. We have to understand it through our heart, though. You don't understand it through your linear brain anymore. Your linear brain can't understand, but your heart has a consciousness. Your heart, higher heart, center of the chest. Human heart, it just pours all your stuff out. Then it clears and it moves over to the center of your chest, and then you've got this whole area going on. That's why a lot of people go through all the upper stuff while they're clearing all that, when the immune system is being upgraded and all. Then you've got a divine masculine on the right-hand side, if you will. So technically, energetically, you got three hearts. Then this whole wall clears. And then once that clears, it starts moving to your whole body, and then every cell in your body becomes a heartbeat, and your whole body becomes a heart. It's really cool how it works energetically. As we clear the protection mechanisms and the stories and all the emotions are the ego's way. And so clearing all the egoic emotions, all the disillusioned states, all of that stuff means it's all got to come up. It's all got to be processed out of the body. It's all got to be allowed to clear. It literally, you can feel it, how heavy it gets. It'll weight your body down. Anything not highest aligned with your current moment. And every time we go through a mega blast, your what's highest aligned changes. It's a new, this is no longer aligned. This is no longer aligned, but it was aligned with you before. That's where we can't go into judgment about it all. You know, I'm seeing a lot of people right now because they woke up with new awareness and seeing the reality isn't vibration aligned, then the judgment about everybody else that's living that comes in. When they forget that was their reality. We all lived in that. It's just understanding and breaking it down through consciousness and love, breaking it down. And creating a whole new reality, and that's where today comes in. So now, before we go into all this, I'll talk about the mega blast and what has shifted and what I'm observing about the energies. You know, and this will tie into, I don't get into a lot of the separation of the different activations anymore, because once you get to a certain place, it's all just light codes. It's just new information, new knowledge, new light codes, and there kind of is no separation between any of them. But we came to the Lion's Gate, which delivers a ridiculous amount of, when I'm ridiculous, I'm talking about in an awesome way. We have ridiculous as the ego, and then we have ridiculous and awesome. So inner power. A lot of people that didn't have the courage to stand up for themselves, it brings through courage. It brings through the boldness. It brings through a lot of these things, but it's everything is, for a while, we have a balancing of the scales, which is where each person, they were in such the other extreme of lack, such the other extreme of being deep asleep, whatever, I'm just using words. Such the other extreme of giving their power away, and then they'll go to the other end of the spectrum, and it'll be too strong for a while. They'll be standing up and proclaiming, and we're going to watch that on a collective level in every way right now. And once everybody's gone to the other extreme, to align everything and bring it into alignment and get it into alignment and learn to speak and learn to do these things, it will be blatant and it'll be loud and it'll be ugly. It ain't gonna be pretty for a lot of people when you're going through this stuff, but it's a necessary part for a while.
And as so we can learn to speak in love and compassion, because at first, when you go over there and snap at it, it's kind of, we look back and we're kind of humbled or embarrassed by the way we've acted.
but we didn't know how. We didn't, you know, and I
No.
have this to reply to somebody else right now. We didn't know how to live as a soul before.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know how to live as love. We didn't know how to be kind on every level and care about each other on every level. And we're going to go through clearing all that I don't know how out. The only thing is that, you know, once we bebop, and it's going to be about everything. It's not just one thing. It's everything in our life. I did it my whole journey. I was way over here, completely unconscious, no clue. When it's time to bring that into balance, I flip-flopped way over here, went to the other extreme. And you know, we can stay in the other extreme for years. This isn't linear. It's vibrational. We're gonna be there as long as we need to be there to learn to stand in our power. We're gonna be there as long as we need to be there to be able to hold that energy of love. We're going to be there as long as we need to be there to clear that out on a cellular level. It was all anchored in the body. And so once we've gone the other end of the spectrum, notice the polarity. This is how polarity works. This is how balance works. This is how we bring it into unity. Is this once you go to the other polarity and do the opposite for a while, then you're going to be like, oh, I don't need to be that strong. I can be soft and be kind, and I can still get my point across. You come back into balance and stability, and you can't be knocked out of balance and stability anymore because you don't have the polarity inside anymore. You don't have the duality. You're not bebopping all over the place. It comes up and you go, oh, and you recognize what it is, and you have a different way of dealing with it. Instead of an emotional response of being hurt or blame, which is what, you know, I was a victim, somebody hurt me, let me come over here, let me blame it and spew and all this project and all that kind of stuff out. Let me come back here and realize I was never a victim. I'm not a victim anymore. Let me come back over here. Let me come back to the center of my purely conscious heart and unity, love, consciousness, and whatever words we want to use. And let me remember. And it's about present. Everybody says, how do I do this? Full presence with yourself, full presence, full self accountability and responsibility for your own energy. It's not about anybody else. They present us with a mirror. They present us with a representation. They are a vibrational response to something we hold inside, that we need to go inside and look at, that we need to clear ourselves, that we have to find the program. The program's inside. They're the physical materialization of a program. Everything is. What we've entered into now, and I've been observing it over the last few days, and I woke up this morning and it's kind of like we just completed over the last few days, the last couple of days, Mega Blast, moved into some really strong energy. So what I was telling you is a lot of egos are going to be really unhappy right
now. Watch out, egos.
Only because we've moved into, for some people, now some people have never opened their heart, and they're in a very soft and tender place. Theirs is not to receive the harshness of get over it, step up. Theirs is to be treated with some care and respect, because that's never been there before. Does that make sense?
These are the new folks who are just waking up, learning to open their heart.
Starting to open our hearts. And the biggest thing about starting to open our hearts is we didn't allow ourselves to be open. You know, we get into vulnerability and we don't trust other people not to hurt us and all this kind of stuff. And so if our heart is just now opening and we're starting to learn to open up and express our feelings, and we've never trusted to share our feelings before, we tucked them all in. Now, the fully conscious thing in one aspect is to deal with it ourselves. But when we're moving into full consciousness, we haven't gained that capability yet. And we need to be able to be raw and soft. We need to be able to express ourselves. I'm going back to that place so I can explain this, and then I'm going to come back again. We need to be able to trust that if we share what in that moment is very vulnerable and open to us, that we're not going to be attacked and judged. Because everything from a 3D level of consciousness or 4D level of consciousness is that that's what the response is going to be. If we open up, we're going to be ridiculed. If we open up, we're going to be told we're stupid. If we open up, we're going to be chastised or ostracized or blamed, and our feelings don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of coming into consciousness is our feelings do matter. It's just when you move into a higher state of consciousness than that before, you start to understand what is an ego's feeling of my little child never got enough love. My little child can't share. My little child wants to play. Mommy, look at them. Look what they did to me. My little child wants to blame. You know, it's all, 3D was a bunch of little children that never grew up into responsible adults through a place of love. And so when you move into 5D, you're dealing with a bunch of children. And so it's like retraining. But the beauty is when you're doing this for yourself, it's your little inner child. It's giving your inner child some love. It's giving your inner child the respect. It's really taking that great care with yourself and not worrying about what anybody else says or does anymore. And we have to get to a certain place within ourselves where we can do that without judgment, where we can do that. And when we move into somebody holding, let's say, a fifth dimensional level of consciousness, they're holding this space as love so people can go through things. You're holding that space, you're letting them go through it, and then you have to check and see what's appropriate for you to respond from. What's appropriate. It's not appropriate to walk in and feed the mentality that you're still a victim in the reality. It's not appropriate anymore. You're not a victim. But we need to be able to be a victim for a little while because we got to clear all that energy out. And so it's really understanding what's in front of us and what's appropriate in that moment right then. If somebody is going through clearing some heavy duty stuff, then they're for a brief moment, 2 seconds or 2 days. Then we need to create that space to allow for that. But we don't have to get caught up in the story, and it doesn't have to be personal and all ours. There's the difference. We can tell the difference. Now, if I have an emotional response to it, it's mine. And I created that person to come forth in my reality. But then you have to look at it on a multidimensional level from 12,000 different ways to actually see what everything actually is. Nothing is as we perceived it to be, but everything is as we perceive. And so shifting your perception changes everything. It changes everything vibrationally. And the more we return to our absolute highest state of consciousness, you have a bazillion perceptions. There isn't just one. You have to look at every freaking one of them. It takes forever to dissect, dismantle, you know, and I've spent years and years and years and years breaking programming. It's intense. It takes a lot of energy. One, we see it all. Then we have to sit and explain the whole thing. Then we have to break the whole thing down. And you're breaking and dismantling the entire construct of the belief system and the reality. And then you're bringing a whole new one in and you're reconstructing an entirely new reality that's built on a whole new foundation. And so for each one of us, that's what we do. And so when you get into consciously create magical realities, you're just choosing to consciously create the awesome ones, the ones that are awesome and play and all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But let me finish this because it's going to be important. We just moved into, it's going to be, a lot of people are going to find this. This is to create a foundation where everybody can stand on their own 2 feet as love. This is to create a foundation. New Earth is a completely different foundation. It has all different priorities. The rules are very different. They're nothing like the old. It's all energetic. It's based upon on our vibrational frequency and the energy that we hold, how we show up, how we contribute. And it's about inspiration and cooperation and contribution. And it's the opposite of the old reality. And so when we bring the old energy in, we have to deal with that energy. It's like, no, this is not acceptable. And so there's a lot of dealing with. So where we are right now, energetically, from what I was saying this morning, we just moved into like the divine father energy. We're going to see a lot more masculine energy coming through. When you got ego masculine and then you got divine masculine, they're different energies. Doesn't matter what body you're in. Doesn't matter if you're in a female body or a male body. That's just the form, the energy. We all have all of these. We have the ego child. We have the, if you will, the feminine and the masculine on an ego level. But then we also get into, and this is what turns into the 6 points of the Merkaba. And I was explaining this the other day. And their polarities are the opposite. So you get into the divine child, the innocence, the purity. You get into the divine mother, feminine, which plays out all the roles. It's not just the mothering energy, though. You end up in ancient and the grandmother. You end up in the sister. You end up in the, you know, we play out partner roles in different capacities. And then you get into the divine masculine. You get into the divine father. The father, which ends up getting into God consciousness. Syrian energy brings through the really strong, no BS. And so each one carries a different vibrational frequency, and the embodiment of the entire monad and oversoul consciousness and avatar consciousness is the embodiment of every one of these energies, but through a very pure state of love. So they're not distorted. They're not personalized and humanized. They don't play in the ego anything anymore. And so the divine father is the disciplinarian, if you will. It's the one, I'm going to say this because a lot of people are about to start finding this out because it's coming through really strong today, is the one that, it's the one that raises the children. You know, when I come in to working with people, I'm dealing with the child a lot of the times, with having to break through a lot of the programming of the different aspects of the child. And we're technically re-raising ourselves through mastery. We're re-raising ourselves through purity. We're re-raising ourselves and relearning how to be what we forgot we were. And so part of the divine masculine energy and God consciousness is the one, it's the provider. So you're going to see a lot of people stepping into more of the doing energy. It's also what the humans use as manifester. It's the power through love. But when you're getting into bringing realities into alignment, vibrational alignment, it's the one that's the tough love. It's the one that will let you fall on your face and fall down as a child and get scraped and hurt so that you can figure it out. It's the one that isn't coddling and playing in it. It'll hold, it's a strong support system, but it's through self-empowerment, self-accountability, self-responsibility. This is your responsibility. You need to work through it yourself. This is yours. I will be here for you. It's the stable one. Does this make sense? When you get into the divine mother and the feminine energy, it's very soft. That's what everybody, when they start coming through, they feel that you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. They forgot that love. But then you become the divine mother in your reality, and you have to be that mother. And when we fulfill the divine mother roles, we're raising children as the loving mother in all of our, I just happen to have been doing it globally all those years. The divine mother, the divine father, we play every role. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. The beauty is how easy it can be if we're all holding that and living from our absolute highest place inside of ourselves. If what we bring to the table is our highest aspects of ourselves, we've already worked through that stuff inside of ourselves. We've already done all the inner work. The inner work is necessary. When you get into a lot of people waking up, they want to go to everybody else and say, help me figure this out, do this for me. And that's not an empowerment. That's the ego game still. those who act as guides, who've already done it, those who've already learned and remembered, those who have already fell down a bazillion times and hit rock bottom and gone through the trenches and all that kind of stuff, then have the capability to turn around and share the knowledge and the information. But if somebody's not open to it, it doesn't do any good. You're like talking to a wall. You're meeting resistance. You're meeting criticism and judgment and all this kind of stuff. So what we will start to find is a lot of people will start to understand that, and they won't even bother. It's wasted energy. Mm. So it's about to be very different for entire collectives, whereas frequency bandwidth, and then I can go into illusions and all that kind of stuff too. I'm going to say this. I haven't written the article yet. It's sitting there waiting for me to write. Change your words so that you can, when we say illusions, when we first start to wake up, everybody's like, yeah, I know it's an illusion, but they don't really get it. The human aspect, the ego aspect runs around and goes, yeah, we're an illusion, but they don't take it any further. Well, if it's an illusion, change your illusion. Illusion, reality, lucid dream, the more plasma energy that we hold, literally, with our bodies. The more photonic light that we hold, literally, with our bodies. Our entire body is crystals and plasma light and all this kind of stuff. The more everything is a lucid dream. You're walking in a lucid dream. You're literally walking in heaven on earth, if that's what you hold inside, and if that's how you live and you treat everybody in your life, not be pretending to be happy. So really, truly, from the core of your being, kindness and happy and sharing and supporting each other and being there for each other when it's appropriate. There are times it's not appropriate vibrationally. And that's the part that a lot of people are going to start experiencing that they're not going to be happy with.
What's the not appropriate part? When someone else is not, when you're not loving yourself enough to speak your truth, if someone is disrespecting you or not showing respect?
I'm gonna say this really quick. The ego will respond from an emotion. Now, I'm gonna have to flip this a couple times.
Okay.
Whereas love consciousness, your higher self, source consciousness, whatever words we want to use, it doesn't matter. Full consciousness, return to consciousness,
Realization.
full consciousness. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what word. A lot of people get hung up in the words. It's not about the words. We have to use words to explain. For those who can't read light codes, we have to revert to words. We kind of don't have anything else to use. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we do, but it's different. When I'm coming from a place of love, I'm not angry at the other person. I'm not retaliating or lashing back. I'm not taking it personal. Now I got to take it one step further. If I have somebody who's really closed down and their heart is really closed and they are refusing with everything that they've got to open their heart and listen and connect, then I have the capability to consciously choose to bring the force of power through to break through that programming. And that is also done with love. It's not done from an emotion, but I have to bring emotion through because the person doesn't care about the way I feel. Mm. And so I actually have to bring feelings out that I don't normally have to bring out. Because the people, I'm going to use this for the people in my life, they care about me. I don't have to act that way. I don't have to be so loud that I tell the other people in my lives, you don't care about me or respect me. I just don't call those people forth. Mm. That's when you love and respect yourself, and you love and respect each other, and you have open, honest, respectful communication, you're not playing out the ego realities anymore. There is the deeper we go on a soul level, the more respect is required. It's a sacred respect for ourselves and each other. Everything is for ourselves and each other. It's not a me or you. It's not a us or them anymore. It's a unification. It's us and them. And so everything we do is for us and them because we're one. But I'm going to say this to make a point. If you have somebody in your reality and their heart is closed, then how you deal with it is going to be very different than if their heart is open. The amount of force you have to bring is going to be determined by how much ego there is. How you bring it through is going to be determined by how much ego you have. How you respond is going to be determined by, did you sit with it, process all the information, process all the emotions out? Did you clear it completely within yourself, open your heart, come back to a place of love, and then show up and have a conversation that's kind, where every person actually wants to work through it together? Sometimes that's not possible if you're playing with all these different levels of consciousness, if you will. It's always a possibility. There's always an opportunity. The question is, does each person actually take it? We all can resolve anything. We can bring everything into alignment, vibrational alignment. We can bring anything into a higher state of consciousness is if each person's heart is open and they are actually ready and willing and there. And if they're not, that's where each person has to look at things and decide what is the appropriate response to this energy that I have in front of me right now. And the thing about it is you have to be able to have come to a place of full consciousness within yourself to be able to see which aspect you have in front of you. Mm-hmm. Do you have a fearful child? Do you have somebody that's functioning from a place of inadequacy within themselves, where they don't feel like they're good enough? Your response to the other person is going to be based upon the energy that they present. And that can only be done in the present moment. It's not something you pre-create and then walk in and go, okay, I got, let's do this. Each one of us have to be able to read the energy on every multidimensional level. It's never just one thing. You can have a fearful child that never got enough love, that doesn't love or respect themselves, while you have a resistant teenager, while you have somebody who's going through an immense amount of hurt and betrayal issues. Can you see all of it? And can you come from a place that is appropriate in that moment right now? And it means stepping away from everything and working through your own stuff, stepping away from it all. And it also means moving beyond yourself and caring about the other person. Do you really care about the other person in the way they feel? Because when the ego comes in, they only care about themselves and stating their claim and telling everybody how they got hurt and story. And we have to move beyond that. All of us do. What we just moved into, there's going to be a lot of breaking the program, not acceptable anymore. No, that's not okay. Now, when the ego gets involved, it's trying to call everybody out. It's trying to point the finger at everybody else. It's trying to make them the bad guy. It's also, what's the word I'm looking for? When you get into distortions of Christed consciousness, you have the savior complex trying to save everybody. We get into the healer and the broken game. We get into, there's a lot of stuff we get into. We move beyond all of that stuff. We're not broken. We don't need to be fixed. We don't need to be saved. That's a game. We need people to be compassionate. We need people to step up to the plate as a soul, as a higher self, and show up. We need everybody to come together. That's what unity consciousness is. Come together, have each other's backs. But the biggest thing in this is that it can't be lopsided and one-sided. one comes to the table and they're fully in that place and one doesn't, then there's going to be a teeter-totter imbalance, and there's going to be a pulling energy, and there's not going to be a reciprocation. Then you still have this stuff going on. And so this is a go inside, work it out. Get the tools. They're everywhere. There's no lack of tools on this planet for how to do this. I have free everything for years and years and years. Other people, we have put it all out there. Each person has to be willing to actually do it. Mm-hmm. Embodiment is you're doing it, you're living it fully with your every conscious breath, that you breathe love through you and you show up that way. It's not where you revert to in an emergency situation or survival mode. It's where you live from. It's a completely different way of living. When you have any lack involved, somebody's holding back. And that creates a whole different reality too. And if you'll notice, I'm talking about creating realities. We actually do create realities. So now we're going back to the topic that we came here to talk about. These energies are going to show every person what they still hold. These energies are going to trigger everything of the ego. These energies are going to show every person where they don't stand in their power. These energies are going to cause entire collectives to stand up finally and say no more. You're going to see everything going down. The only thing is to understand how it correlates to you and your reality. What's yours? You know, there's a lot of it's not mine. If it's in your reality, it's yours. Period. If it's coming up, it's yours. Or it wouldn't be there. You know, especially when we get into photonic light and feeling all the density and people are like, oh, I'm feeling everybody else's. No, you're not. You're feeling yours. It's really owning it and moving through it and letting it go and move on and start choosing the reality you do want to. What do you want to experience here? From the depth of the core of your being, what brings you the most joy? That's where we get into, you know, the energy report put up for this month was about self-care and feed your soul. And when you get into consciously creating realities, you are doing the things that you love that benefit humanity. But in the beginning, we don't know what that is. And so we have a lot of, I wonder what my soul purpose is. I wonder why I'm here, you know, and that is a part of the process. We actually have to care. We actually have to be ready to fulfill those instead of worrying about conforming and playing out the old realities. It's just that a lot of the roles that we all fulfill here, they aren't linear human roles anymore. And so it's not a linear thing. You know, you have an entire networking system and gridding system and that are gatekeepers. That's not a linear human role. Technically, if you want to play with it, there's no pay for it either. And so everybody is doing it out of the pureness and the love of their heart for humanity. They're fulfilling their roles here. You don't have a thing saying, okay, gatekeepers get paid this much. It doesn't happen. And nobody recognizes the role that the gatekeeper plays, which is opening all the portals to higher dimensional realms and bringing all the knowledge and the codes through and sharing them and basically reaching entire collectives of people and re-educating and assisting them with their DNA evolution and their consciousness. Our DNA is directly correlated to our level of consciousness that we function here. And so those who don't care about their body, who won't support their plasma crystalline light body, which is your physical body, which most people don't know. They think they're going to get a new body. No, not how it works. Their soul's inside. You got to bring it through. That's where the challenges come in. When you're suffering, having a rough time, you're in your head, your soul's trying to come through for you to shift into. Higher self is an aspect of your soul. The challenge is your head. The challenge is your ego. Challenges are only for the ego. Once you dissolve all of that, you're not challenged anymore. That is breaking down programming. And that's all I've done for years and years and years and years, to show people how to break it down. We become deprogrammers in every capacity. Look at Loren, how many times we come together and boom, I'm like breaking it down. There's not 1 ounce of the old allowed, is there?
No. Sleepless nights when you know Lisa, just because of the tossing and the turning. And
But
you
here's
know,
the thing, we're not doing anybody a service
right.
by keeping that going.
And when we look at the issues, just hearing you speak and reflecting in the past few days of things that kind of irked me, you know, I could say it's something that someone else did, but you're right. It is
That's
all
that
my ego.
foundation.
It's getting all my ego. And so, you know, I did get a little bit irked and I did have to fade away, slink back, and just remove myself from the situation. And I was able to reflect on it. And it's like, wow, again, thanks for helping me clear that. So that's
Well, I'm going to say this
responsibility.
too, that's really important. The fact that
Mm,
you go inside and you look at it, that's a part of self-responsibility. That's a part of taking your power back. The
mm,
moment you blame it on somebody else, you gave your power away.
mm-hmm.
You're not standing in your power. You're saying it's all them. And that's a deflection and a way not to take responsibility. And that's what the ego, I call the ego a narcissist. The ego is a complete narcissist in every capacity.
And it's just amazing, the wounded child or the something, it's this small child, the wounded child.
And that's what I've done recently. I had somebody in my community the other day and she called it her warrior. I said, put the sword down.
Yeah.
Call it your child. And pay attention to the energy. When you know, my warrior, you're in a fight inside the whole time. Yes, we're warriors. We're warriors of the light. We barrel through realities. We obliterate the old, but we do it as love. We're not fighting anything. There's a difference. It does take warrior energy to break your own stuff down. But the thing about it is when you shift out of that needing to fight and protect all the time, and your heart opens and you look at that aspect of you as a little child, you're in this little child.
Yeah.
It didn't get enough love. It didn't get enough attention. It didn't get the recognition. It didn't, it wasn't treated with respect. It wasn't held and
Yeah.
cared for. It wasn't raised properly. It was all dysfunction. The whole thing was. This is you loving your child,
Mm.
showing it. And it's not a battle anymore unless it's a battle, and then it's a battle. But this is you accepting that aspect of yourself as just, it's just an unconscious program. It's the aspect of us that didn't know any better. It doesn't know, it doesn't understand, but you as your higher self in that moment, you do. And your higher self can be any energy. It doesn't matter. It can be a Syrian, it can be a Pleiadian, it can be a Lyran, it can be God consciousness, it can be Christed consciousness, it can be the divine feminine, it can be the divine child, it could be two children playing and having fun together, and the innocent one that's not coming from the pain helps the little child that is coming through the pain. It can be any aspect of you you want it to be. That's the beauty of it. It's more about really becoming so fully present with yourself. And here's a key, Loren, that's really important that I've been telling people a lot lately. Separate the story from the emotion. The story is your program. The story is your victim mentality. The story is giving your power away. The story is the thing you will stay looped in. The emotion is important to acknowledge and respect. The emotion is trying to service. That's all the hurt. That's all the hate. That's all the pain. That's all the I was wrong. That's all the I never spoke my truth. That's all the I was suppressed. That's all. That's all. I mean, it is going to be a ridiculous show for a lot of people to go through. I wrote a piece a few months ago. This isn't going to be pretty. When you're going through it, it's the ugliest, nasty mess you've ever seen. That's what awakening is. You're awakened to the delusions. They blow your mind. They confuse you are so confused and lost, but that's an important place to be. because you don't have anything to attach to anymore as reality, and you get to actually get the opportunity to create a new reality that's aligned vibrationally differently. When you're lost, you're not in your head anymore, but your head used to run the show, and now you don't have a story. Now you don't have an identity. Now you got nothing to attach to. Now you get to unanchor from 3D and re-anchor in 5D, your consciousness, if you will. And I was explaining this the other day, and it's so easy. All you have to do is open your heart fully and bring that purest, most beautiful aspect of you through, and you're back in 5D. You don't go anywhere. You live from a level of consciousness. 3D, heart closed, I'm in my head. You're going to have a 3D experience as long as you are. And they're going to get the amount of plasma and photonic energy polarizes. It makes it loud and in your face. It will get louder and louder and harsher as long as we don't want to open our heart and listen and see. And so the stronger the walls around our heart are, the more closed off we are, the more disconnected we are from that pure divine essence and place inside of us, the harsher it is. The moment we come into consciousness and proclaim and say, no more, I'm going to live from my heart. I'm going to focus on being happy. I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm going to give myself love. I'm not going to accept less anymore. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that has to be vibrationally aligned. Every one of us have to vibrationally align our entire life and every aspect of it. Everything has to be realigned vibrationally with pure source consciousness. And that's our responsibility. We agreed to do that. We agreed to re-evolve back into our higher aspects. We agreed to live through unity, consciousness, and oneness, and remember what it was like to be a star family. Remember what it's like. We're a light family. A lot of people, I hear them talk about different things. They have forgot that they're one. They have forgotten. We all did. When I said they, I'm talking about me too. Mm-hmm. The only difference is I haven't forgotten anymore. I'm not in a deep state of amnesia and deep asleep, playing out unconscious games of my ego anymore. You surrender your ego completely. You dissolve it and resolve it inside. It'll come up from time to time. You know, this morning I got triggered with stuff, and it took me 4 or 5 hours to work through it. And I know, don't ever respond from an emotion. I don't respond from an emotion.
Well, it's good to know that it still comes up for you, because I mean, this is how deep the layers are, but we get stronger at moving through it when we own it.
It's about where you function from. It's about the foundation for your reality. What's the foundation for your reality? What are you building? When we get to creating, you're also building. You know, and so I'm going to use interchangeable words here for a moment. But yes, it is beyond important. Yeah, I still have an ego. It just doesn't run my show.
Yes.
I don't bring it into my exchanges with people. I deal with it myself, just like every one of us have to do.
Yes.
I recognize when I get triggered. I don't bring that to the table. I don't dump my stuff on everybody else's doorstep saying, here, figure it out for me. I go inside, I work through it all. It's just the rate that I can work through it is at a ridiculous rate, and it's really easy. It used to be, it took me months, weeks, years. Yeah. Now it's a matter of an hour.
Yes.
Now it's a matter of 2-3 hours. If it's a biggie, it's going to take me a few hours. You know, really big ones for me that take me 3-4 hours take somebody else months, because there's so much emotion. And so mine just happens to be because I have communities and I have vast amounts of people that I took on the responsibility to assist. And so I have to deal with all of this. It's my responsibility. And so it doesn't matter the roles we're playing. I take that back, but I'm saying that to make a point. It does matter the roles we're playing. But what happens is that Every one of us, every time you go through a massive blast, everything that needs to be aligned is going to be in your face. That's how this works.
Okay.
I woke up this morning, inbox is full, stuff going down left and right. I got a deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I will. I don't sit around in the victim mode. I don't sit around avoiding things. I step up, I get it done, I move on, I'm on to 12,000 other things. I don't let my ego, I don't play the ego game.
Mm-hmm.
With anybody or anything, we're direct and to the point, but we are coming from a place of love.
Mm-hmm.
Love for all of us. And so when I wanted to go back to the emotion for a moment, just because it's really important. Everybody, the other day and I said this to my group the other day, I was at my refrigerator and I'm walking around. And my question for humanity and people was, why is your emotion, why are your feelings not enough to give you your answers?
To give you the answers
that you're seeking.
That we're seeking.
Why are your feelings? And the reason I say that is the old days we tucked the feelings in because we didn't like the way that felt. When those feelings come up, they show you where things are not aligned.
Mm.
They show you where things are not okay, and they give you your answers. If each one of us will pay attention to how that makes us feel, and then choose something different, choose consciously. Choose, you can transmute, you can transform, you can completely vibrationally shift anything. When you are working through quantum consciousness, it's actually really easy. Each one of us have the ability to work through everything on a quantum scale instantly, right then. Quantum is instance right now. Doesn't linger on forever. That's what a lot of people call magical realities, is that when they start appearing, it's like, oh, it was magic. And it's a vibrational response. Well, when you start understanding your entire physical reality is a vibrational response to what you put out into the world, it's a vibrational response to how you show up. It's a vibrational response to how you act. It's a vibrational response to what you hold and how you treat each other. It's a vibrational response to everything. Then you start paying attention to what shows up in your reality. You use your reality to see yourself. You use your reality in many ways. But the human aspect doesn't use the reality to see. It gets caught up in the story of the whole thing. We look at the entire reality, it's an illusion. So for the sake of this too, I'm going to introduce this today just because I have a writing coming out. Loren, I'm going to play with you for a moment. Because it is going to come into our consciously creating the magical realities. I do want to talk about that because it's kind of the point. But if I say to you, Loren, last time we did a thing together, I told you to change, I don't remember, maybe realities to dimensions to a vibrational timeline, so that we can start to understand that you're just in a vibrational timeline. When you change the vibration, you shift timelines, literally. And a timeline is still a word to describe linearity, but it's also to explain vibrational.
And how we move in reality with that vibration. So we can, yes,
realities you're going to experience the moment that vibrational return comes around. So what you're doing in this moment right here is creating a reality, a bazillion of them.
All right, so everyone, let's just be, really centered, really aligned. And that's why the vibrational alignment that you speak of comes from joy. And this is right. So let's all go do 5 things or start making lists of all the things that bring us joy and start from there. It's that state of being, just be it.
There's, I wrote down a few things to do. One is to pull completely away from everything and find your happy place.
Yes.
Utilize what you have at your disposal to support achieving a higher vibrational reality within yourself. And so, you know, we didn't understand for a really long time how low our body's vibrations were, how much it takes to get our body's vibration high enough. Utilize nature, get out in nature, go sit and journal. Go take a pen and paper, let everything else go. Go sit and, you know, in the beginning for me, I created an inspiration journal, and it was everything that I would love to do, everything that inspired me.
Yes.
Don't get attached to anything. You're using it as inspiration. That's different. This isn't oh, I'd love to do this. I expect it to go this way. That's the ego's way. This is this is a great opportunity to create. This is a great opportunity. I'm so excited. We have to get ourselves to being excited. We have to get ourselves to this place. And so we utilize anything we can to vibrationally support reaching that place inside of us. Wonderful. I got the doors open. All right. So when we're talking about, you know, consciously create magical reality, and I'm going to bebop a little bit here. One is to get yourself to the place that you can reconnect with the magic inside. You can't create a magical reality from lack. It's the energy that you put into it. It's the energy that you function from. It's your excitement.
Yeah.
It's your, you know, so in June, I had the team flying in, and I'm like, oh, I get to create a magical experience. Mine is create an entire experience. The whole thing is magical. Every person that comes into my reality lacks for nothing. If whatever's vibrational aligned, dependent on the role that I'm playing in that moment, dependent on the reality that we're creating together, dependent on the experience that we're supposed to be having. You know, when I bring people into my reality, dependent on the role that they're playing, if I have a group of people, I create a completely magical and amazing experience for them, that no holds barred, no limits. I'm going to do whatever it takes for them to have the most amazing experience, and every person that I have done this with has. Because I take the responsibility for that. Because I invest that much care and that love into the experience for them, because I love them. And so when each person starts to understand, you can create anything you desire. You can create the most amazing and magical experiences if you're willing to do the work. If you're willing to, for me, I would see, here's one of the little keys that is really important, is to sit down. In the early days, we didn't have the ability to access imagination. We didn't have the ability to, we were too linear, a lot of us. And so, you know, starting to do vision boards actually help. Anything that helps you get into a creative space. Color magic markers, paper with no lines on it. I mean, everything that they do, mine is crystals and doras everywhere, color, you want anything high vibe that's going to support you with getting your vibration up and getting you into that creative place and space where you can let completely go and dream your reality. You're dreaming your realities in. And what I do is I see the entire experience and how I want it to go. And then I make a list of everything that I need to accomplish in order for that to happen. And then I get up each day and I do all the work to get it done. So that by the time that reality comes around, everything's done. There's nothing to do. It's done. And we all get to have the most amazing experience because I cared. Because I didn't bring lack to the table. Because I didn't put a dollar value. Because I didn't play in the ego game at all. And so it really means removing the limits, let go of the excuses. It doesn't take anything to create. It takes imagination, it takes connection, it takes caring. Everything else is just a bonus on top of that. But it's like baby steps in the beginning. We have to start somewhere. And so it's like, take that first step. It's basically, for the human ego, it's like taking a risk. It's stepping into your fears. But the beauty about this is you're opening portals inside. portals to multidimensional experiences. You're opening portals. When your heart opens, it opens up different portals inside of your body to access an entire barrage of things. And so you can sit with your eyes closed and allow your body to completely relax and allow yourself to get lost in dreaming a new reality, and then make a list of all the things that you would love to do. Make a list of all the things it's going to take for you. Start calling forth. You can call anything forth. Kind of cool. And be ready to do whatever it takes to get it done. That's where a lot of people get tripped up, is they think that magical realities just appear. Well, they do for a little while. But then when you step into creator consciousness and entire realities, it's your responsibility to get it all done. And so you're the one that's going to be getting up each day and doing these things in order to create. New Earth is a rebirthing and a recreation and a building of all new realities. Everything's all new. Everything's vibrationally aligned on a soul level. That's how you get to live your heaven, is you have vibrationally aligned everything within you and your entire reality, the people in your life, everything is highest vibrationally aligned. And highest vibrationally aligned just means that it's purer and it holds more love. It's not a better than, or somebody's worse, or there's no ego stuff. There's people coming together and contributing and going, oh, I can fulfill this role. Oh, I can fulfill this role. Oh, yeah, I got this. Part of unity consciousness is you have groups of people coming together and working together as a team and fulfilling different roles here. Part of unity consciousness is everybody evolving. This is another writing from a team to partnerships. We're partners on every level. It's not a human thing. It's not a romanticizing. It's not a partner in the old capacity that people think. What do partners do? They come through for each other. They got each other's back. They pull their weight, don't they? They're invested in a reality. And so any one of us that come together, we are fully invested with everything that we have. We share everything on every level. We don't have the I, me, mine going on. We don't do things because we want something. It's very different. We do things because we care. We do things because we have something to offer. And when your heart is open, you have something to offer. That's the beauty of this, when we start to understand that when your heart is truly open, you're what you offer. For years, the only thing I had to do was show up and care. All I had to do was walk around, transmit light. All I had to do was be kind and care about people. In my local community, I showed up and I volunteered. If it meant spending the day with those on the streets, if it meant giving my money away, if it meant pushing buggies, if it meant showing up at events and washing the dishes, I did it, because it's called How Can I Be in Service? And it's in every way. Only our head gets in the way and says, I can't, I don't, it's got to be this way, it's got to be that way. Service is love. Service is being a part of something much bigger. And we're fulfilling roles. Even as a gatekeeper and a gridkeeper, none of what we do is understood. We can't worry about that. We understand. We see what we came here to be and do. We see and we understand, and we show up every day in whatever capacity that is to fulfill that, without recognition, without reciprocation, without anything from anybody else. Not really, because your universe will always provide for you, because you're your universe. And so it actually blows portals wide open for amazing stuff to come. But I'm trying to make a point, so I have to go in extremes. We talk in extremes to make points. We show up, we do whatever it takes in any capacity. We come through. And we know we're going to receive. We can't not, because it's vibrational. And we did it from a place of love. In every capacity. We didn't do it from our ego. We didn't want anything in return. We know that we're activating the most amazing realities to come forth and support our work, to support us, because we understand how this works. We kind of don't have to ask for anything. We do require certain things because we know how, it's kind of like knowing how the game is played. And because there are so many people holding a game in place, then we still have to play that game from our purest place because we still are in these realities. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so while it's not a game, as long as collective humanity holds the old realities in place, then everybody's still kind of bound to that in some capacities, but they're not. The beauty of New Earth is you go on and you come together with others who are doing this too, and you create an entirely new reality that isn't bound by any of those old limits and conditions anymore. You create realities of sharing and caring and showing up and support. You support each other. But there's no lack involved. You do your own, you do your own stuff. So like me and the people in my reality, if you will, if I got something going on, I pull away, I work through my own stuff, I come together. If they got something going on, they pull away, they work through their own stuff, we come together. We don't bring our stuff to the table. That's a karmic timeline. Now, in the early days, we did, because you have to learn to talk through things and be open. That's a different reality. There were realities for years where we all had to be willing to come to the table and talk openly about things and let go of the judgment about everything. But we even move beyond those realities where we don't have to. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But it is, everything is an important part of a much bigger picture and a huge process. And we have to go through everything to complete the different pieces and the parts of the process in order to move to the next. And so what we've done is we have moved into, everybody's moved into, oh, I'm going back to what I said to you a minute ago, Lorraine. I'm changing the words again because we change words to assist with new perception, with seeing in a different way. So right now it's reality / illusion / hold on, I gotta look and see what I'm writing right now. Reality, we tie words together to unify understandings instead of this is this and this is this, bring it all together. And this one is reality, illusion, lucid dream. And you can do heaven on earth. We can get into playing out the hell realities and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to go right there right now. If each one of us make the words interchangeable and you understand your reality is your illusion, the human aspect separates out reality and illusion. Technically, they're the same thing. Your reality is your belief system. That creates the illusion you live in. Your reality is your mentality about things. That creates the illusion, the lucid dream that you walk in. The only thing about plasma energy is it gives everybody the capability to open their hearts fully and to move into a different phase of the illusion. And that's where lucid dreaming comes in. Is for a while, we actually have to learn how to lucid dream. I had to go through years of learning how to lucid dream before I could actually start walking in a lucid dream. Then your whole world becomes a lucid dream. And you're literally walking through this really psychedelic, weird, bizarre experience for a while where everything's bright and colorful and amazing and magical. And a lot of people are going through this right now. It's really exciting. We are seeing entire collectives starting to experience this going, oh my God. And, you know, I saw a lady write the other day about all the color spectrums. Well, the crystals in your body give you the ability to do different things. The crystals in your body give you the ability to see the multiple dimensions in your own reality as you walk. But when the crystals in your body are evolving, then it can get quite intense because it's also a purification body part of the body. It has to purify that part of the body. And so things swell up and they itch. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. There's a lot of neural pathway remapping. There's an entire neural networking system that has to be established within the body. There's all this stuff where photonic light can actually zoom, zoom, zoom through your body. The beauty is the more photonic light you hold, the more you quantum jump without doing anything. You can just sit here. You don't do anything. My cells quantum jump for me. I just get up each day and do. I teach all night in my sleep. Everybody's like, Lisa, you were working with me last night. I'm like, no, I know. I woke up exhausted. I can see myself doing all these things because your sleep and your wake state become interchangeable too. The beauty is because when you're, quote, fully conscious, I'm using words, functioning from your highest state of consciousness possible, then your sleep state is utilized as well. And the more we go, the more you get to do a bunch of stuff in the sleep state so that your waking state can be the magical one, so that your waking state can be you're walking in heaven, because you're either clearing a lot in your sleep. You can use your sleep state to clear. You can utilize any state in ways that benefit the journey if you're doing it consciously and through your heart. Consciousness is love. Consciousness is kindness, but it's not a human anything. It's a pure love that isn't bound to anything or attached to anything. It's a pure love. It's the light of your soul. Literally. Your soul doesn't die and go to heaven anymore. Your soul comes through you and you live in heaven here. Literally. Your wings come out your back. It gets very bizarre and weird. You know me, I could go on and on and on. So let's get back to creator consciousness really quick. I know.
Yes. We have a few more minutes, Lisa.
I know. That's why I'm doing this. New Earth. You birth it from inside of you. You will actually see two different Earths. If you don't see two Earths, then you're still functioning with one version of Earth. Mm-hmm. So it's really important to just ask. The beauty is you can ask on a human level, you can ask and activate anything you desire. Through consciousness, you could state anything you want. I can say, bring me the next awesome reality. Here it comes. Bring me this, bring me that, do this, do that. I'll see each day what I need to get up and accomplish. That's how this works. The beauty of multidimensionality is we've already done all these realities. And so all you're doing is kind of quantum jumping into the ones that are already done. And so, but if you're living from a place of fear and hesitation and resistance, then you can't. Mm-hmm. So you have to open your heart and drop all that. And basically embrace everything from inside of you and honor and respect your physical light body as it does everything for you. Mm-hmm. When my light body says shut down, you can't function today, I have to let everything I learned years and years ago, years ago. Listen to my light body. My universe told my little human me, your light body comes first. All my human programming came up, well, that costs too much money. And that is like, get over it. It's your only priority. I didn't understand how this worked. All my lack came in, but I listened. Mm-hmm. And it's like clean water. This food, that food, because your foods are going to be all over sleep. Your sleep's going to be all over your light body doesn't sleep. So all these people going, I can't sleep. I don't understand why. It's because your light body's kicked in. Your human body sleeps differently, and going through that merging and that integration process with the light of your soul. This is embodiment of your soul. Do you understand how big that is? That's not a small feat. Our physical bodies were not equipped. They were carbon-based. They have to go crystalline. They were carbon-based. They actually literally have to go plasma. They were carbon-based. They literally have to hold a ridiculous amount of photonic light. And photonic light is high, ultra-high frequencies. And so it shuts our human body down until you can acclimate, until you can integrate, until you can hold that and function. You walk around foggy, groggy. It's a very different existence, but your life is going to get so much easier and simpler. Everything is simple here. Nothing's complicated. Nothing's hard. You're going to rebirth yourself through yourself. And you rebirth as a little child, and you have to learn everything all over again. How to walk. A lot of people, you know, even for me, I was falling over everything, falling downstairs. I had to walk present with every step. I had to hold on to everything. I looked like a crazy person. You kind of get used to that. I had to learn how to speak. And every time I went through a massive blast of light and integration within myself, I had to change all my words. You can't say the old words anymore because they lend to an old mindset. And they support the old. You can't say the old words anymore because they're not vibrational. Your vocal cords constantly go through changing. You won't even be able to speak those words. You won't be able to speak. Everything changes when your body is going through this massive, it's an evolutionary process on a DNA level. And it's a ridiculous amount of photonic light. And there's a lot going on inside. A massive evolutionary process going on, a cellular level, a subatomic and an atomic level, rewriting of our DNA. Everything's going on. And so it requires from us a ridiculous amount of respect and love and care and support. That's why I've done all what I've been doing all these years is to assist, teach, guide people to make it their priority so everything can be easy too. But it's not going to be easy for their ego. It's going to be challenging for the ego. It's the opposite. We rebirth, we recreate, we create, we build, we do all of these things. All of our realities are holographic. So at any given time, we are looking at 40,000 different realities run simultaneously and through geometric grids. We literally live in a holographic reality. And all these pieces and parts are constantly moving. Photonic light is alive. It breathes. You're breathing consciousness through your entire reality. You breathe life into your reality. It's a very different existence than it was before. And you do it through love. You do it through a deeply connected state with everything. You know, my house, it's like I need plants. When we first moved in, it had to be degutted and cleaned and plants and get the vibration of the house up. And then it's like, just keep getting the vibration of the home up, because wherever you are supports your vibrational frequency that you're able to maintain. Everything you allow in your field will affect everything and your ability to maintain and sustain and hold. And then you become the entire unified field of consciousness, and it's your field. And so you are the unified field of consciousness. When you function from that unified state inside, you are that quantum state of consciousness. When you live from that quantum state, reconnected with everything that works and lives and breathes simultaneously all at the time. And it's a cohesiveness where everything is working in unison. It is nothing like the old realities were. Realities are vibrational and energetic. And so the moment somebody goes unconscious, the whole reality starts to collapse. And we can see all those constructs and we can see all those things because there's this entire geometric to everything. Everybody has this capability. Everybody. But it takes full consciousness and full presence and a ridiculous amount of dedication and commitment to yourself. And complete self-love and let all the judgment fall away. And then when we get into consciously creating reality, see, if you'll notice, I don't say consciously create little things. I'm doing the whole reality. Your whole reality is a conscious recreation. You're recreating your entire reality from scratch. So we are the magical ones. So I'm going back to when I had the team here. I know my time's up, but I'm talking really quick. I'll start talking faster just to shove it in, because we're going to do the after party and we're going to talk a whole lot more. But it's important. When I had the team here, you know, the first couple days, I'm like, how am I going to get? I was going to redo the whole house. I had to put, you know, order beds and do all this and set everything up. And it's like, wow, massive amount of work. It took me 8 days solid of 5 o'clock in the morning until about 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night of physical work, reconstructing my entire reality to support the team. When they came, they get to live in magic land. When they come, it needs to support them. I understand the importance of why we do what we do. And so it's like, okay, just get in that place and get up and go to work. I worked myself to the bone. I was collapsing every day. I found parts in my body that I hadn't found that hurt, and I had things that didn't even know had muscles. You talk about. I was putting together 14 sets of this and new shelves and moving this. I did that for 8 days straight. When I got down to the last day, I realized I couldn't get it done by myself anymore. So I put out a text to a couple of people. I'm like, hey, I'm actually asking for help. I never ask for help, ever. I don't ever need help. Would I like help? Yeah, it'd be awesome, but I don't need it. And so I had a girl show up, and she walked in, and luckily she can see holographically, vibrationally. And we just went to playing in the magic and creating. I had gone to the nursery and bought a bunch of plants. I'm out there with my hands all in the dirt and I'm repotting. And I really realized I'm creating a whole magical experience. I'm playing with the plants. I'm having a once I got past the first couple of days of all the hard work, then all of a sudden I realized I was creating a magical experience. It was going to be a blast. Then it got exciting. Then I was like all in it, playing with the plants, and went to the nursery and I got a bunch of stuff. I went and got some pots. I came back. I spent the whole morning outside playing in the dirt like a child. We gotta be willing to get our hands dirty. We gotta be willing to get in there, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Get in there. Go all in. And by the time the end of the week came, at the very last breath, we got it all. I knew that I would get it all done at the very last second. I think it was like 10 o'clock at night. And the girls that came to help me looked at me and said, how do you do all this? We're exhausted after one day. You have been doing this for over a week. And the beauty is your physical light body can accomplish anything that's aligned on a soul level. You don't have the limits. You can push through anything. You can get it all done. I wasn't working against my body. I'm like, body, help me get through this. Come on, body. It's a unison with your body, but it's also not doing things that don't support. If I invested all my energy in things that are not vibrationally aligned, I would be depleted and I wouldn't have any energy. And photonic light already depletes your system. So it makes you choose. Makes you choose what's important to you on a heart level. Soul level. What's important in your reality? What do you want to create? What do you want to experience? And these are the questions you ask yourself every moment of every day. It's not I asked myself 2 years ago and that's what I got. It's just every moment. Every moment you are birthing and creating a reality you are going to experience here. That's the beauty of this. I know time's up. But every moment you are breathing creation, literally. Every moment, everything you hear, see, feel, do is creating a reality. This is where each one of us go inside and figure out what's going on inside. Move that stuff out. Move through it. Process it. Get it out. Honor and respect. Go get out in nature. Do whatever it takes. We're not trying to escape anything. We're here to create a whole new reality and to come together. We combine our resources. Notice the word source and resources. We combine, we join our stuff, we make bigger stuff. It can be the most beautiful experience if each person would allow it and be willing to get all in there and contribute and support and be a part of something much bigger. We all are New Earth. We're New Earth. Every one of us. Gatekeepers and grid keepers, we hold the grid points for that reality in place. Every one of us. And when we come together, we strengthen the New Earth gridding system. It's a gridding system. You get to see everything. We link up with Gaia. Our bodies do. Everything that we do, Lorraine, everything I've written for years is while I am completely connected with Gaia's consciousness, with universal consciousness, with galactic consciousness, with cosmic consciousness, with all these different levels of consciousness. they're all done from inside and in unison with everything. There really is nothing out there. It's all inside, and that expands out. But I know that when I'm looking up at the sky, I used to see all the stars and go, that's all us. But I also knew that it was inside my body. And so it's really everybody understanding the deeper we go inside, the depth of the core of our being, the more really real we all are. We have to be real. No more pretending, no more putting up a front. None of that stuff. All that's got to go. And just being really real and really just showing up. And it doesn't have to be complicated. We just have to care, and we have to be willing to do whatever it takes to be loved.
Mm-hmm. Show up in love.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful discourse you've given. What a beautiful words of inspiration, empowerment. I know we're all feeling that way. I want to mention now a couple of tools, let's call it, a couple of opportunities for people to really go deeper in this. And one is coming up in just a few minutes when we end our show here. We're inviting those who wish to join us for an after party in our Zoom audience. Go ahead and look on this page. Actually, I'm going to put something up on the screen right now. There's a link here for you if you'd like. You can get this after party link with Lisa and me today. We're just going to hang out a little bit and decompress from this and just have a little bit of fun. And that's really good. And it comes with a monthly membership to New Earth Creators membership, because we are New Earth Creators. And this is really a place for us to get serious or have that group activity where we come together and we create in that way from that place of love. So you can go there. It's bit.ly/New Earth Focus. That is for something else coming up as we have. You can see there's an after party link right there for us. But if you go to that link with Lisa's page, you will see that's a program that we did together. And we're coming back again to hold another, gosh, let's call it an expansion session. This is where we really expand.
It's going to supplement what we did before.
And what we did before, oh my goodness, it's all recorded. That was almost 14 hours of this program. I call it an immersion. Lisa will call it a New Earth focus group, and it's both of that. When you get done with those 14 hours, your world will be transformed. And anyone who joined us for that New Earth focus group, you are invited to come back in free of charge to our event that we're having on September 8th. This is so empowering because the last vestiges of fear are absolutely obliterated when we step into this power. And that's really what we're going to focus on. It comes from such a high level that there's no room for any victimness at all anymore. So this is where the rubber hits the road. Or let's come up with some new feeling words of what that is.
Where heaven.
What?
Heaven.
Where heaven hits.
This is where heaven touches earth. This is where we bring heaven. And with this thing, we focus on our visionary aspect and stuff. This is about becoming the visionaries. And so the visionaries are those who hold, in one capacity, we're all visionaries. We have access to all multidimensionally, all realities that have already occurred. And so we actually get to see everything. And that's where we share from. It is each person, as they start to open your heart, you get access to see again. And it's all through your inner vision. And so this one we focus on becoming the visionary in our reality so that you actually can start to see in a whole new way. And so with that one, I wanted to do something more and take it further for all the people who joined us last time. And then I wanted to say this, Loren, it's important. Anybody that joins this list this time, I'm asking that you go ahead, if somebody purchases now to do that, that they go ahead and do the other thing first, because I don't want to have to repeat, because we're going to take up from that and we're going to go further. And so I'm going to ask that everybody at least have done that. And if you forgot what it was, go back and do it again. Because when we come together for this one, it's only going to be for 2 or 3 hours, not going to be 14 hours. I say that, we never know.
Right. We never know how long it is. But it really is amazing. I mean, there were 2 sessions, and you guys can listen to it as you need, because I would say try to immerse yourself in it, because that was really powerful. You know, it's really, Lisa like just really deprograms us, deprograms. And when we hear other people, and their situation, it deprograms us from that as well. So we can all feel that. It's really quite amazing how that happens. And so this is for, I see Bruce here on our chat. He says, I'm getting tired of sitting on the sidelines. This is exactly where we are all at. I'm getting goosebumps on this. This is where we really step up in love, and it's beautiful. No more excuses. This is it. It's like on and on and on.
I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
It's really important, because what Bruce said is really important. And I explained this so people can understand. Until we're tired of our old reality on an ego level, we won't move.
Until it matters so much.
Until we're done with the old realities on an ego level, we're not willing or ready to do anything else. And so we actually have to get to that place where we're tired and fed up. It's actually what makes us want something else. And it's an important part of the process. It's what helps us budge out of that place. And so when he says I'm tired, I'm like, good.
Yeah.
Because I had to get tired too. I had to get fed up. I had to be done. But because I didn't want my reality to change. And until you're fed up and done, you don't want your reality to change. And so being fed up and done, you know, and there's a section in Navigating Dimensions I write about this, the importance of being done, the importance of, you know, I highlighted the importance of some of these energies and why they're really important and all. But the beauty of being ready means that we're open. And the getting off the sidelines is like, we call it the, in one aspect, and we offer metaphors to explain. We explain a lot of stuff in metaphors because it helps see when you're doing in metaphors, you're seeing the energy of something versus it being linear and fixed on the thing. So metaphors are really important, but you're on the fence. You got one foot in each world. You've been waiting for something to tilt you off. And so when you say, I'm really done, I'm ready to do something, that's getting off the fence. And so we, you know, I put a writing out the other day about we need embodiers. We need, because it came through as a clarion call for everybody, telling everybody, we need everybody to step forward and fulfill these roles now, because on a soul level, on a galactic level, we all agreed to do this. We all agreed to fulfill these roles, and now it's time. This is a part of the 2020 timeline that we are preparing for. Is part of the 2020 timeline is that a lot of people are going to be called to step up and step forward, fulfill your roles, and those are different in every way. Each person has a different skill set, has a different set of resources, has a different, it doesn't, what we have, we start to understand that those play a role too. And it's for me, it's knowledge. I have knowledge. That's my role I play in amongst 12,000 other ones too. Because as we evolve, because those who know me, I've been working this year, all year has been 12D template. Once you have completed all these different roles within yourself, then it's template building and the codes and the templates for humanity and everything. And so we've been doing all this years. When Bruce says I'm ready, we're like, hurrah, come on, baby. Let's do this. Yeah. Sorry, but that's exciting to hear somebody say I'm ready, because that's kind of.
I think we're all ready. We are all, anybody watching this is ready.
Yay! Yes, they are. I know they wouldn't be here if they weren't. So thank you guys for being ready and for going for
And being bold. I mean, we're feeling bold,
Oh,
I mean, yeah, just feeling the bold of feeling, when we do clean this up within ourselves, we liberate ourselves from this, from these emotions. Wow. I see it. I feel new earth.
yay. New Earth is where we live, literally.
Yeah.
New Earth is where we live. When we fully, fully, fully dedicate ourselves inside to this. And so it's a process. We have to be patient and pace ourselves and all because we're going to start birthing new realities and all that kind of stuff. But go look at any person that has been doing this, and there's going to be a ton of information and opportunities for people to have something to guide them through. And so, like the stuff that we do, Loren, it's to guide people, it's to assist,
Yeah.
it's to open hearts more. All of this is about opening our hearts. I had somebody recently say, why is this happening? To get your heart open.
Yeah.
There's a huge, the part of the awakening process, the reason the whole thing is so tough is because our hearts were closed. Mm-hmm. And we have to go through the tough, the rough, the devastating, the off the charts, whatever, to get our hearts open all of the way because we kept closing them back down. And if we close our heart back down, something else is going to come back around, open it back up. And when I started understanding, keep your heart open, Lisa. One day I went to close my heart. My universe was like, don't you do it. No, I was mad. I was angry. I'd just gotten hurt. Mm-hmm. And I was working through the emotions. And after getting tired of working through the emotions, I got about halfway through and I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to shut back down. And in that moment, it's like, don't you do it. If you shut back down, you are immediately going to call forth another one. It's going to be rougher and harsher next time. I'm like, oh, no. So I just stopped right then. And I just closed my eyes and went inside and I breathed and I'm like, open back up. And I learned how to open my own heart and not shut down out of anger, not shut down out of hurt, not shut down out of protection. It's a protection mechanism. And from that point forward, I never shut my heart again. And the harshness stopped because I was wide open and ready, and I lived from my heart from that point forward. It didn't mean I still didn't have a lot of stuff to work through. It just meant that I was going to do it with my heart wide open, and I wasn't going to bring my ego in anymore. And that's an important place to get for every one of us, is to where our soul runs the show. Mm-hmm. And we basically take the keys away from our ego. We take the steering wheel away from, it doesn't have the pilot's license of our lightship anymore. I mean, we have a lot of words that, it doesn't run the show.
Right.
And so from that point forward, though, my whole life turned around. All the suffering stopped, all the lessons and the slaps upside the head, all of the beat my head against the wall, all the inner struggle. It didn't mean that I didn't still have some inner struggle for a while, because I still had a lot of programming to work through. The only difference was I got to do it from kindness and love, and I got to go through every reality through love and break it down and do it easier myself. And that's when I stepped into the capability to do that with everybody else. Once I was able to do it for myself, then I could assist others. And that's how this works for all of us.
Yes, and that's the important role that we each have on this journey. Lisa, thank you so much for this quantum conversation television episode. It has been so empowering. We love it. And we'll see you soon on our New Earth Focus Group expansion session coming up on September 8th. Thank you, Goddess.
And now we're going into the after party to play, right?
We're going to go and play in the after party. So please check that link out on your screen and join us. It's really cool because it's got, you get into all the QCTV after shows with my guests. QCTV episodes are usually on Wednesday evenings. This is the start of season 23. So we're doing today and tomorrow in a special QCTV show. So please join us in our New Earth Creator membership. You also get downloads of Quantum Conversations podcasts. And you also get a monthly download of plant music remedies. These are plant music symphonies that I've created. It's a new thing that I'm bringing forth, high vibrational frequencies in
Yay.
music from the plants. So that's all there for you in that membership. And we thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Lisa, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your dedicated service, for your love, for everything that you're doing. Even if you don't think it does, it matters in huge ways, and it makes a massive difference. It takes every one of us to do this. So from my heart to yours, thank you. It means a lot to every one of us that are doing this too.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, now we will dance our way to the cosmic heart as we close our session of QCTV. We'll see you in the after party. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.